The richest man in Rome, Lucanus, a baker's son, walked through the busy streets of ancient Rome. The stone streets were warm and shiny in the afternoon sun. The air smelled of fresh bread, roasted meat, and spices from the east. The sounds of sellers shouting about their goods mixed with the noise of people shopping. But Lucanus was thinking about something else. Since he was a kid, he dreamed of being rich. His father, who worked for years in his small bakery, always said, "Wealth isn't for us. We only earn enough to live." But Lucanus didn't believe that. He always stared at the rich men with fancy clothes and gold necklaces walking in the streets, wondering how they got so rich. One day, while walking through the main square, he saw a man that everyone respectfully moved aside for. It was Marcus Valerius, one of the richest merchants in Rome. He looked calm, his clothes were made of green silk, and he had a gold belt. His eyes were sharp, like he knew all the secrets of wealth. Lucanus stopped for a moment, took a deep breath, and said in a shaky but firm voice, "Lord Marcus, can I have a moment of your time?" Marcus stopped and looked at him. Then he smiled kindly and said, "If you dared to come forward, you must have something important to say. What do you want, young man?" Lucanus, surprised by his own courage, said, "I want to learn how to get rich. I don't want to live like my father, always working hard, but never getting ahead." Marcus was quiet for a moment, then touched his neat beard and said, "Getting rich doesn't happen overnight, but if you're willing to work hard and be patient, maybe I can show you the way." He offered to take Lucanus with him on one of his trading trips. They were going to the lands in the east, where merchants brought spices, silk, and jewels. Lucanus agreed right away. A few weeks later, he left the city with a group of merchants. The horses walked slowly on the dirt roads, and the dust sparkled in the sunlight. On this trip, Lucanus met people from different cultures, learned how to negotiate, how to judge prices, and how to use opportunities. In Alexandria, he saw how a smart man used his math skills to grow his business many times over. In Carthage, he heard from a merchant how one bad decision ruined his entire fortune. Through these experiences, Lucanus learned lessons that were worth more than gold. But the trip wasn't just about learning. He went hungry and tired, shivered in the cold desert nights, and often failed in negotiations because he didn't know the local language. But every failure taught him something new. After months, the group returned to Rome. But Lucanus was no longer the simple baker's son. He had a rich mind, even if he didn't have money in his pocket yet. With the little money he made from his trip, he started a small pottery workshop. Instead of making plain pots like everyone else, he had a new idea: pots with Greek designs that rich people liked. At first, no one paid attention to his workshop, but he didn't give up. He patiently told everyone he knew about his products. He stood in the market all day explaining the quality and beauty of his work. At night, he met with merchants who could sell his products outside Rome. After a year, his orders increased many times. After 5 years, his small workshop became one of the biggest pottery centers in Rome. Rich people were willing to pay gold to have one of his pieces. Even the emperor used his pots at his parties. One day, as he walked through the market, a young man came up to him. He was wearing simple clothes, and his face showed the same passion that Lucanus had years ago. The young man asked, "How did you get rich?" "I don't want to be poor all my life." Lucanus smiled and said, "Wealth is in the hands of those who know its rules." Then he told the young man the same rules that Marcus had taught him. Always keep a part of your earnings for yourself. Control your expenses. Invest your money wisely. Don't take foolish risks. Protect your wealth. Have a home for yourself. And most importantly, always keep learning. The young man listened carefully, and his eyes shone with hope. Lucanus was now not just the richest man in Rome, but a man who knew that real wealth wasn't in gold and silver, but in the knowledge that changes lives.